Okay. But you've how long have you known this person?
The person
Yeah.
examiner today.
The tutor.
The tutor is I've known her around 2 weeks, but today's examiner, speaking examiner, is different.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So does that add to the pressure on you if you're not familiar with the person?
Yeah. I think I kind of feel like that.
So you just feel a bit shy because it. And did you say to me that when they do the speaking test with you, that do they do it in front of all of the rest of the class?
But mock tests doesn't do that.
It's in a separate room. It's just the two of you, just one on one. Okay. Because I could well understand if I was being tested in front of the rest of the class, I'd hate it. I wouldn't like to be doing that. That would be very stressful. But I think if you're one to one, and I think if you're familiar with the person, you shouldn't be stressed. You've got to. Why are you letting yourself get stressed about speaking?
I don't know. I just today I feel very nervous before the speaking test. I think I couldn't do enough to get good score.
All right.
And yes.
So what happened? What happened during the test? Were parts 1 and 2 okay? Did you manage to do all right in those? And then did it fall apart a bit in part 3, or did you struggle throughout the test? Or
yeah, I always struggle, but part 1 is fine.
Yeah.
And I have never thought about the topic, today's topic.
What was the topic then?
About teenager.
Okay, that's a common one. I'm sure we've done something about teenagers, haven't we? If we haven't, we will be doing soon. So it comes up quite often. I don't know why they asked that. It just seems a strange thing to ask, but
oh yeah, so it was very awful today.
Yeah, see one of the problems you got, because you want to go to the US, and so it has to be IELTS, doesn't it? There isn't any option. If you were going to the UK or Australia or New Zealand, you could do OET, and OET, they'd be asking you questions about nursing, and I think you'd probably find that much easier.
But today I think I can't do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I lost my confidence.
Yeah. Well, you got to. Well, I think you've got to stop worrying about it. I think if you create like a mountain of fear, then you're always going to struggle if you fear it, if you fear the thing. You've really got to say, look, I just don't care. I don't care whether I do well or not. Look, I'll give you an example. Maybe I've told you this already. About a year and a half ago now, I suppose, I had a student who was a doctor in Korea. Yeah. And the first time when I did the classes with her, I actually said to her, I don't really know why you're doing the classes, because your English is fantastic. You know, you speak with an American accent. There's no hesitation. She's very, very smart. All the information was there straight away. No hesitation. And then she went to the exam and I think she got 6.5 or something. And I was really shocked. I couldn't figure out what had gone wrong. And she was quite. I think she's quite a wealthy woman, and I think maybe she comes from quite a good family. And in the classes, she was actually a little bit arrogant. When I was dealing with her, you know, like some of the questions, one of the answers to the questions that she gave me was, actually, I only like to associate with rich people. I don't like to associate with poor people. I thought, wait. Okay, so I thought, but what she said to me after the exam was that she got nervous before the exam, and so she just got, when she went to the exam, she just got nervous, and it all fell apart. And so I said, well, I'm really surprised. And then she didn't take any more classes with me. But the last thing I said to her was, look, you know, you've just got to go in there and stop being nervous about it. You've just got to do what you do in the class. You've just got to go in there and give the answers. So she got in, I think this was in December, and she got in touch with me, I think at the end of January. And she said, I just want to let you know that I went back and I did this test. I didn't take any more classes. In fact, I wasn't going to do it, but then for some reason she decided to do the exam, because I think because she'd booked it already. So she decided she wasn't going to do it, so she didn't care. So she said, oh, it's in my calendar. Okay, I'll go and do it. And because she didn't care, I think she got 7.5. So it's attitude. It's attitude. If confidence, as I've said to you before, is probably 60 or 70% of your score is confidence. So if you just say, oh look, I'm not going to get nervous about this anymore, there's no point. It doesn't help me anyway. Being nervous is actually working against you, and being afraid of it. If you just go in there and say, oh, to hell with it, I'm just, whatever comes, I'm just going to do it. And then, because a lot of the hesitation you're getting is, like, particularly when you're doing part 3 questions, you start to hesitate, your confidence goes, you hesitate some more, and your confidence starts to crumble, and then you start to struggle. Well, but if all of that is to do with confidence, it's not whether you can answer the question or not. It's all of this is like a mental thing. It's your confidence, and your lack of confidence or your nervousness is creating these lengthy gaps. So you've just got to say, oh, never mind that. I'm just gonna start talking.
Yeah, I have to get used to this situation, but yeah. I usually do something what I want to do really well, but in English I can't do that, so I get stressed a lot than other things. And I'm kind of OCD person, so if
I don't think that's
allowed to make mistakes.
No, yeah, well, okay. So I'll tell you something that happened to me a long time ago. I would have been maybe 8 or 9 years old, maybe 9 years old, and in this very small school where I went to school, in the elementary school, there was one teacher who used to teach the music classes. So this is why I know about the fear of doing things in front of other people. And so I was a little bit of a sort of cheeky kid who used to like sort of making jokes with my friends, and sometimes I was a bit cheeky with the teachers and things like that. So we went into the class, and it was a big class. We actually had a very large class. There was maybe 33, 35 kids in the class or something like that. And I think my friends were sitting behind me, and so I was sort of turning around and chatting with my friends, and the teacher called me out and said, okay, because you've got so much to say for yourself, you can stand up in front of the class and sing. And it destroyed me. It totally destroyed me.
I hate that.
And even to this day, things like that, this is the reason I hate karaoke, because it always reminds me of having to stand up in front of the class when I was a child and actually sing in front of people. And the only way I can do karaoke is to drink so much beer I can hardly stand up. But the funny thing then is, once I start singing, you can't get the microphone off me. When I'm drunk, I like to get hold of the microphone and I like to sing. So it's fear. It's fear.
Yeah.
Okay. And the funny thing is, last Sunday, for the first time in about 20 years, actually I think more than 20 years, I was singing karaoke with some friends of mine on one of the beaches here, and I don't know how it got started, but they gave me the microphone, and I'd already had a lot to drink, and then I just kept on singing, and all my wife was there and my friends, and they were all looking at me because I'd always said, I hate karaoke, you'll never get me to sing. And then I was singing Tom Jones songs and Frank Sinatra songs, and I just kept on going, and I had a really good time. I really enjoyed myself. Apart from the next day when my wife showed me all of the videos that she'd taken of me with her smartphone, and then I just wanted to die again. But yeah, so I know about the fear of doing things in front of other people, and I know that it holds you back, and even if it's not in front of a classroom full of people, that fear of taking that step into doing something that you're not comfortable with.
But I usually don't shy when I present something when I was a university student.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah. But just in English.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm not enough good. I'm good enough.
You're not good enough. Okay. Well, actually, I think that you are. I think you'd be surprised if you saw a lot of my other students. You're actually much better than most of my other students. Your only problem is hesitation when you're doing part 3. That's the only problem you've got, is hesitation. Your English and your intonation, and you've got a little bit of an English accent, and because of the time that before and all of that, you should be able to just go in there. But then I can just sense this sort of, and it becomes a pressure on you, because even if you're only hesitating half a second, all of a sudden you realize it's half a second, then it becomes 20 seconds, and then it becomes a minute. But it's like a growing ball of fear inside you, and you've just got to put it to one side, just knock it out the way, and just go, I'm just going to answer the question anyway.
Yeah.
Just stop the hesitation. You'd be fine.
I want to do that, but I can't. Today the examiner told me that same thing, to stop overthinking.
Yeah, overthinking is a bad thing. Yeah.
That made me hesitate.
Yeah. So I think I would say, don't worry about making mistakes. Just talk. Just talk. Never mind the mistakes. Just keep on talking. Because you can do it in conversation. Now that we're just having a conversation, there's no hesitation at all. You can understand me perfectly clearly, and you can respond about whatever it is that we're talking about. So it's not understanding English, and it's not being able to respond. It's only in the IELTS question situation, when you get an IELTS question. And again, I've had many students, whether they're Filipinos or Koreans, who have the same thing. I sit and have a chat with them before we get started on the class, and I think, oh yeah, they're very good. Then we start doing the questions, and they just collapse because it's an IELTS question. So you've got to. This is what I've said to you before. You've got to just bring your own personality and just start talking. Just be yourself. Just answer the questions.
But also, I think I have lack of idea.
Okay, but then and I've just finished with another student immediately before I came online with you, and she said exactly the same thing. And actually, her English is pretty good as well, but she got stuck on a couple of questions. She said, "Oh, I don't know," and I said, "Well, I did say to you right in the very first class that you should be looking at the BBC and Al Jazeera, and you should be the general big topics that we've got in IELTS. You should be searching them for videos so you can listen to the vocabulary, listen to how they talk about them, and get some ideas. Mostly get some ideas so that you can talk about things, because it's impossible to talk about things if you've got no ideas. But you should be researching the big topics. I said before, global warming or the environment, transport and traffic, health and healthy eating. I did say all this to you right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I say it to all of my students on the very first class.
I do that these days a lot.
Good.
Everything I connected to the IELTS.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but every time is different and random. right or
Oh
not?
yeah. I mean, I don't think you should be memorizing answers. Absolutely not. But there's a difference between having a scripted answer and reciting a script, because that's very obvious. I can spot it straight away with people. There's a difference in that and actually it's a little bit like in part two. You know, when I say to you to use keywords, you know, with your spider diagram to only have keywords. That's not even if it's a topic that's come up before. That's not reciting a script. And you said you gave presentations. You were used to giving presentation. Now the best way to give presentations is to just have keywords and then to talk around the topic using the keywords as prompts for your speech. So when I'm doing presentations, I do presentations on IELTS to classes here in Davao sometimes, and so what I have on my PowerPoint is just keywords, and I just talk to those keywords because like there's nothing worse than a PowerPoint presenter who reads out every single thing that's on his PowerPoint, because there's no point. You can just let the audience read it themselves. All they get there is the sound of my voice. So if I've just got some keywords and then I talk around the topic. So if that's your way of doing a presentation in Korean, then use it in the same way for IELTS. So maybe what you should do when you're researching a topic is not to try and write a script, but just to put some keywords to remind you of what is important about the topic, so that you know, oh, this thing is important. You know, global warming. What is important about global warming? Maybe carbon dioxide emissions. So just CO2 emissions, and then you talk about that. Where do those CO2 emissions come from? And if you can explain it, why are CO2 emissions important for global warming? So just being able to link them. So it's just ideas. It's not about creating a script.
I think I have to make diagrams of all about topic.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think that's not a bad idea. You know, but I mean, maybe you can make some, or you know, like on say health or healthy eating. You just make a variety of spider diagrams about health and healthy eating. Not writing a script, you just got some ideas, and maybe to do that you need to do some research on say on the BBC or Al Jazeera or something like that. Then you won't then be able to say, well, I've got no ideas. You'll have some ideas.
Yeah. I will make it. It's really tough.
Yeah, but okay, it is. But then you've got to work out a strategy. You've got to and once there is not one strategy that works for everyone. You've got to work out a strategy that works for you.
Yeah. Okay.
And for somebody, I can't believe that somebody who does free diving is afraid of IELTS. My goodness, free diving is one of the scariest things in the world. My goodness, you wouldn't catch me doing it.
In English, I had English. Okay.
Currently, I live in Bucheon City, which is